function as a service, or FaaS. All these as a service offerings have a unique little pronunciation. So this is FaaS. Function as a service takes platform as a service up even higher in terms of abstractions and value. So function as a service allows you to create and host runnable code, so-called a function, which is why it's function as a service. And the goal would be when you have a small task that you want to automate, or you want to offer a really lightweight, for example, web service, function as a service allows you to deploy a block of code as a function, or in AWS, they call them lambdas, as a function that can then be hosted on the internet, but you're not even worried so much about the application, right? So in platform as a service, we talked about this yesterday, PaaS, you can host an application in, for example, Elastic Beanstalk in AWS or Azure App Service. The difference between those offerings and FaaS, or function as a service, is all you're really hoping to accomplish is a single web addressable endpoint that can, or potentially it's a job. FaaS is not just concerned, or it doesn't just solve the problem of needing to be web accessible. You can also run scheduled jobs, for example, as functions as a service. But again, if you think about the units of deployment, the complexity in creating, for example, code that might run, when you're creating an application from scratch, there's lots of things to do that have to involve, that are involved in the infrastructure on the code side of actually creating that application, where function as a service really carves up just a single piece of that puzzle, and potentially all that you need to accomplish. Where function as a service really shines is when you have a piece of something you want to automate, but it really doesn't, it stands on its own. Now, a related topic is microservices, and so we'll talk about that in a future video. But microservices take the traditional monolithic or single application and break it up into a set of services. So FaaS, you can imagine, fits that model well. It's not the only way to do microservices, but it fits it well, right? Because its goal is to accomplish a single thing. That said, if you do not have many microservices that could otherwise have been aggregated historically into a single app, you might just have a single atomic task you wish to accomplish, but you can't really express that task in any other way other than in code. So function as a service allows you to host that code without having to worry about an application and hosting an entire application. Another related topic is serverless. And so you'll hear this talked a lot about in the FaaS platform side of the house. And that is interesting, right? Because of course we know there are servers underneath all the technology that runs in the public cloud. But the implication is, like platform as a service, FaaS tries to push the user, the consumer of that service, again, usually a developer or some combination of a developer and an operation or infrastructure engineer. It tries to push their experience as far away from dealing with concerns like hosting an application, or again, in the infrastructure as a service, where we're dealing with operating systems and related dependencies. So you could almost see function as a service, or FaaS, as just one additional set of turnkey services on top of platform as a service when it comes to hosting code. And again, a function in this case, or a lambda in the case of what AWS calls it, is just a single task you wish to accomplish, often but not always web accessible.